U.S. Army Major General Harold Green, the highest-ranking military officer killed in combat since the Vietnam War. His death from another green-on-blue attack in Afghanistan. Let's bring in Colonel and Senior Fellow with the London Center for Policy Research, Tony Shaffer. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me this morning. Good to be on. Thanks.
I want to begin with this. You know, this is a sad day for our armed forces and for America, but the White House is still claiming that there is progress being made in Afghanistan. I want to listen to this. This is from our own Ed Henry to White House Press Secretary Josh Earnest.
Right. How can you cite progress when an American general was killed today?
Well, the progress that I cited is the progress that was made, hard-won progress, that was made by our men and women in uniform who have been serving in Afghanistan for more than 12 years. And there is no doubt that what previously was a base of operations for core al-Qaeda no longer exists.
All right, so Colonel Shaffer, not only do you have some information for us this morning, some new information that, in fact, we're not making progress, we may be going backwards.
Absolutely. And first off, condolences to General Green's family and his close friends for his death. Let me be very clear on this. We've made progress in that anywhere we stand physically and have physical forces, we secured that for the time we're there. Now that we're pulling out, there's some major things happening. First off, and let me be clear on this, no doubt, al-Qaeda is moving back in behind us. They are cooperating with the Taliban, and so this is where I believe we have to have grave concern about what our investment is and what we plan to do now as we start drawing back. I'm not saying we should maintain the 100,000 troops we've had in the past, but clearly, Heather, we've got to figure out a way here to deal with the fact there's a credible threat now moving back into Afghanistan, and at the same time, you see these sorts of events happening. The Taliban have infiltrated the Afghan army, and this is an example of that. And I believe we're going to find out that this individual was at least inspired by the release of the 5 Taliban commanders that President Obama released recently. This is just not a good way to end a military action in Afghanistan.
And you have some insider information that, in fact, Taliban is increasing their numbers there. And has the White House been informed of this?
The White House has indeed been briefed about the current configuration of the enemy forces now moving in Afghanistan. Now, this is where there's a real disconnect. Clearly, we have to understand that where we pull out, others will come in. The Taliban have established a shadow government all across Afghanistan. And as we start pulling out our forces, and by the way, General Green was there to do good things. General Green was trying to do his best to help the Afghan military forces be sustainable past our departure. So he is a true hero here. But at the same time, we have to accept the reality that as we pull out, we have to understand that we must maintain some level of force there, able to conduct offensive operations to get al-Qaeda and the Taliban as they move back in, if we want to sustain the central government.
We have limited time here, but you mentioned the 5 Taliban prisoners and the prisoner swap. What do we need to do about that? I mean, should we reverse course? Should we bring them back? What can we do?
Well, if I were the president, and if this is proven to be a Taliban attack, that this individual who killed the general was a Taliban, I would definitely rethink the release of those 5 Taliban. Again, even if, at minimum, this guy was inspired by the release of those 5, and I believe the Taliban was probably behind this attack. Okay. If so, we need to rethink the release of those individuals and put them back in Guantanamo.
All right. Colonel Shaffer, thank you so much. We appreciate your insight this morning.
Sure. Thank you.